Lucky Boys Podcast.
They got so comfortable with me when we were just hanging out that they kind of
Just slipped up.
oh, Will, you don't want to move there. That's there's a lot of X amount of people that live here in that neighborhood.
It's so funny. I had a really
And I'm
similar
like,
experience.
I'm Asian.
Yeah, I had a really similar
like
experience.
I would
with that.
feel comfortable there 100%.
Wow.
And she was just like, oh, I forgot. So a lot of the times they can forget that you're Asian, even if you look like this, which is weird. I never knew that phenomenon.
I heard about that phenomenon. I don't.
Because what happened to me was like I had a coworker and we work at a dermatology firm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was the MA, and we had a patient who came in who was Asian, and we were trying to find where she was. She may have gone like upstairs or the bathroom or whatever. And my coworker, who's white, was like, "Oh, have you seen the girl like and stretched her eyes
my God,
at me,
what the fuck?
at me?" And I was like,
What the fuck?
and I told her, I was just like, Paige, like, first of all, no, I haven't seen her. Second of all, you can't do that. And she was like, oh, like, I think it was, I don't think.
Wait, this is a coworker?
This is a coworker. And I don't think it was like out of, and actually another thing happened, at my restaurant. It's like a 3 Michelin star restaurant, very fancy, ton of like French people who work there. And there's this group of Asian people who were leaving, and they were just like, oh my God, the food was so good. Like they were like really, really positive and happy leaving. And then one of the French captains, people always think that racism is only like an American thing. No, it's everywhere. Like European.
For sure.
They literally were like, okay, so
Parisians.
I can't say his name. Well, he was just like, arigatou gozaimasu, like in the worst accent, in the worst like.
Oh my gosh.
And I went up to him. I was like,
Not okay.
That's not okay, man. That's so wrong.
I was like,
okay.
hold on.
They don't realize a lot of it's education, man, because they learn it
don't
from their
realize,
parents or
like,
their
it's-
peers, and it's become so normal because they do it so often.
But yeah, so I went up to him. I was like, they weren't Japanese, right? And he was just like, and I was like, that's totally inappropriate to say, right? Because they heard him and they would just looked so confused.
Oh, the customers?
Yes.
Yo, that's so fucked up.
And then I
What?
went up to the manager and I was just like, did you see what just happened? And he was like, that was one of the stupidest things I've seen in a long time. And then they had like a conversation about it afterwards. But yeah, I was like, holy crap.
See, that's interesting. Like, there's something going on there. Like, there's something
It's like
that
the conflicting.
it's almost like it's so like Get Out. Like it's in there. Mm-hmm. It's always been there. But because you don't see anyone that's paying attention, or you let it slip. But it's always been there.
And that's what's like, people make jokes all the time and they're not funny. And then they're like, oh, you don't have a sense of humor. It's just like, it's genuinely not funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, why do I have
true.
to pretend to laugh when I just like, and when it's at my expense to begin with,
People have an unconscious bias where they're just trained a certain way to think, because if all they see is Asians in this type of setting, whatever the movies tell them, and they have that one Asian friend that confirms that, then that's it. They believe it. Like, oh, look at that. One Asian person that I know totally fits this movie character. So yes, you guys are definitely like this. And then when they meet other Asians, they just expect.
People just they do the same thing.
I mean, it's an unconscious bias.
Yeah, but unconscious bias can be very
damaging.
It leads to systematic racism. I mean,
Right.
like you could say like, just because Asian is supposed to be this way, I'm not gonna hire you. That causes a whole issues. Like you're not hiring because they're Asian or they're a specific type of race.
Can you imagine if we did that with other areas in life or other professional areas? If they did that with doctors? Can you imagine that? Would you want the best doctor working on you? Or would you want someone?
Yeah.
Who's able to like chat and carry a conversation.
Right.
And which
Have
like,
good bedside manner,
Absolute outrage if we did that with sports. Can you imagine the Knicks go, oh yeah, we need like 3 Asian people.
You gotta fill a quota.
And they're not that good. Even locally here, they're saying the whole reason de Blasio is talking about, Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, all these Brooklyn
Specialized
Tech.
high schools. Yeah,
Right. What did he say about that?
I mean, he wants to get rid of the standardized testing, right? So because Asians are doing too well on these tests, so that he wants to get rid of these standardized tests, so you can emissions tests.
It's just a very complicated issue because
By
like
grades.
obviously Asians test very well, right? Just in general, like
Speak for yourself.
this is
I'm
the
a terrible
issue,
test
right?
taker.
This is the issue because they're
Yeah.
pitting minorities against each other in
Right.
this way. Because what they're trying to do is create opportunity for African Americans to be able to like get into these schools as well. But unfortunately, because of how our educational system works and the lack of resources, they're just not able to, you know, test as well, right? So it's just like it's pitting two minorities against each other, and then it's just like, but then look who's like still on top, you know, look who's still like able to get into these schools.